Hi there, I'm Joyce the Voice, and I want to show you what I do to get my fingers ready to play guitar. I always have in every guitar case, I have extras of all of this. I have the same in every guitar case. These are my staples. I have a capo. I have several kinds of capos depending on which guitar I'm using and what's available. I have my picks, of course. I have my picks and I have my capo. Sometimes I have extra strings. I have old strings that I'll carry just to keep in case I pop one. And then I can simply easily replace one with an old one before I get a new set. But the other thing I always carry is nail clippers. They don't always have, I go to the dollar store, they don't always have the little file on them, and the file is too small. So, but I always have extra pair of clippers. Some of them are large, some of them are tiny, depending on which case I have. The other thing I have is a large file for buffing your fingers, your calluses. The other thing I carry is Blistex for your lips and for your fingers after buffing them. You take care of your calluses on your fingers. You can see mine are really big. The same way you would take care of calluses on your feet. And of course, I have my finger picks. And I have an earplug. Sometimes I have to plug in ear if it's really noisy, and so I can hear myself. And for a windy day, yeah, another pick. So anyway, I want to show you what I do. How do I prepare my fingers? And what do I do about these finger picks? I'll show you that too. So first thing I will do, and sometimes I find it easier to cut my calluses back with this kind of a clipper, just to get it flat and flush, because I don't want to take too much skin off of my fingers when I'm buffing them. First thing I'm going to do, though, is cut my nails. So I'm going to trim. Easier with the bigger clippers, and then I just hit them up with the file to smooth them out, because you want to keep these nails really short. Okay, and I always have these are cheap at the dollar store, really wide ones. If you can't find them, you can find them in any store. But they're great. They're great for the nails, but they're also great for the calluses, and I'll show you what I mean. All right, so I got my nails out of the way for the fretboard hand, okay, because I play like typical people. And I trim up my calluses that are hanging off because I don't want them catching on the strings. And I don't want to take too much off, like I said. I just want to get the hard stuff off. And I keep one of these by my bathroom sink also. I'm always smoothing out my calluses. In my guitar cases, at my bathroom sink, they're all over. But generally, I keep them at the sink so I could just wash it down the sink when I'm done with it. Rinse off my fingers and rinse off the file, and I don't want all the skin going everywhere. So I do it over the sink. So I'm using the rough side first. Then I'm going to use the finer side. So what I really want is just to get those tracks off my fingers. I get guitar string tracks. And I don't want them catching on the strings because I don't have classical guitar yet with nylon strings. I don't have that yet. So the steel guitar creates a lot of callus. Some people callus more than others. And maybe because I don't have like thick fingers like a man, so I may press harder than they do. Or maybe not as hard, but I try harder. But my skin is more delicate, or maybe it's my age because I'm getting much older. So I don't know, because my skin would be then thinner. My skin would be thinner, and then my body would have to react by making more callus. I don't know. I'm just guessing that happens with age. I don't know. But I do know that your skin thins when you get older. See, so I'm using these clippers to get the hang hang skin. It's not a hangnail, it's a hang skin, because I don't want it catching on. So I let it go for a few days just to show you when I don't play for a few days, that's what happens. The other thing you do is to care for your hands, especially your nails on your other hand, which I'm going to talk about next. You would want to not soak them so much like you want to do dishes with rubber gloves on. I have a problem with my right hand, that my nails are so thin that they peel and they tear. And only in the freezing cold do they actually break and chip. Or sometimes they do chip and then they get sharp and I have to file them down. That's rare, and generally it's when it's so cold out. See, you could see all the skin coming off. It's disgusting, yes. But it makes your fingers nice and ready to play. Because you don't want them, again, getting caught on the strings when you're trying to navigate the strings and you want a nice clean sound. Especially with your pull-offs. They'll pull off really hard, but the hammering and the pulling off, it's not smooth. You want it to be smooth. And sliding, you want it to be smooth. You just want it to be smooth. So the other thing then you do is, okay, you wash it off. Usually like I said, I'm at the sink and usually it's not as bad. And then, of course, I will put oil on my fingers. I use coconut oil and I just rub it in. And that's it. Now, when I'm traveling, of course, when I have my guitar, I don't have coconut oil with me. So I use my chapstick, and that works just as well. Okay, so they're softer. There's still a little groove there, but I didn't go too crazy. Oh, maybe I could do a little bit more. No, I think it's good. It'll be good because it's soft now because it's smooth. I put oil on it, so it's all buffed up. So I can press them down. They're visible because I was just playing, and I think because my fingers are swollen a little bit because I was just playing. So I think that they're just looking worse than they are with the skin. I could feel the skin. It's not that hard, and they're not going to give me a problem now. I guarantee if you look back at my fingers in another half hour, the swelling will go down and you won't see the grooves in there from the strings anymore. And the skin is smooth. So this hand has horrible nails. They don't get strong. One thing I do, let me go get it. One thing I started doing, and I did notice a difference, is for my wrist, I take Glucosamine Chondroitin Msm. And the MSM in this is good for it's for healthy joint support because I broke my wrist. But the MSM is good for nails and hair. And so is biotin. So I started taking these products to improve the strength of my nails. This expensive nail tech does not work. But it does protect your nails from, let's say, moisture. So you can see they're peeling and they're thin, and I like to finger pick. So that's why I actually have these metal picks, which don't sound great on a steel guitar. They honestly don't. I try them. I do use them. I have no problem using them. I have for each of my 4 fingers, but they don't sound as well. They sound very high and tinny. So I'm not happy with that. So I'll just use this one. I was going to use my other, I have a regular nail file too that I could have. But I keep this by the sink and in my guitar case, like I said, nice and big. The small, this has a finer emery board, I think, on it. Okay. So these nails are ridiculous. So I'm starting those products. They're going to get stronger, I hope. There's also stick-on nails that they sell for guitarists. and they are like press-on nails, specifically for guitar playing. And what you want is a little bit longer than what they call a functional length nail. This thumb is almost a functional length. It's not quite, but this thumb doesn't really get a good sound. The pinky I just broke, and it was coming along really nicely, but it's a short finger, so it doesn't get attacked as much. And as I strum with my fingers too, and it also wears down my nails. So it's like, you could see how fast they file down because they're so thin. So when I stroke with my fingers, I end up playing with my fingertips because my nails aren't really helpful. So what I do when I want, and I have a song, I have a strong bass in it, bass runs that I want to play, and I'm finger picking. And sometimes I'm strumming, but when I have a good bass sound, I use the Dunlop thumb pick. And what I do is I lick my finger first so it doesn't slide off when I'm playing. But you can see how it's flattened out, and I tend to play kind of rough. But you can see with this thumb pick, I shortened it because I find that this one catches too much. So just like your fingernails, you can actually change the shape of your thumb picks. And so what I do is I'll cut it down. See, I already cut. So it's made with some kind of a resin plastic. So you cut it down and then you file it just like you would shape your nails. And you want to make sure you have a nice soft edge on it, like it's not a hard edge. You want to have it soft around all surfaces. Okay, now these clippers don't work so good, so I end up using these clippers. I just get the shape started and then I go like that, okay? Take a little tiny off the top and then down this side. Okay, now I'm going to use a file. Now I have a big file here that I'm just going to round it up, and then you could use your fingernail files to get it to be the smoothness you want it to be. So I have several of these thumb picks too. In each guitar case I have a thumb pick, but I just want to show you what I do because I thought it would be helpful for other people. I couldn't find anything on how to take care of your nails that you pick with because everybody presumes people can grow nails. I can't grow nails. So that's a problem for me. So that's why I said use rubber gloves when washing dishes. You can use the nail strengthener, which just will help protect it and thicken the nail. But you'll have to keep putting new coats on. Putting on new coats or replacing it. And I don't know if all those chemicals on my nails. If I put acrylic on my nails, being that they're so thin, I'm afraid of my nail health and getting fungus. I think I would have more problems than worth it. So I think I want to make this a little bit pointier. So I'm going to go like this a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to take it and go down with it with this file. So, you know, these picks are like fingernails, but they're like thick fingernails, so they last a little bit longer. And of course, you want to take it and smoothen it out in all directions, this way and this way. You want them to strike the string and roll smoothly off the string. You don't want any sharp edges anywhere. You want it to be rounds this way and smooth this way. You want it to be smooth in all directions because you don't want it to pull on the string at all, and you don't want to hit hard. You want it to come off smooth. I need a little bit more of a point on this. I can't believe I did it so flat. There we go. That's good. Yeah.
redoing my work. Here we go. There we go.
So some people prefer them longer. They make a different kind of pick that has like a little spring on it. I'm okay with these. I just lick my finger first and they don't fall off. I know it's kind of gross, but it's my finger, it's my pick. So oops. Want to check it? No, not yet. Yeah, it's getting there. There we go. So now I can hit the string and run a nice bass run. And I could also use it to strum with, but I end up using my fingers, and because I do different things to give dynamics to my music. So yeah, you can see they're not exactly the same, but they work. Yeah, they're fine. You get used to it. You know, do you exactly hold a pick in the same way, a regular pick? So that's what I do. Again, biotin and MSM. So I'm going to be using these. I'll let you know how they work. Rubber gloves, protect your nails. Always carry your nail clipper and a file in your guitar case with your picks and your capo. These are staples in every guitar case. And of course I have my thumb picks and my rarely used finger picks and extra guitar strings, as well as your chapstick for your lips and for your fingers after you file them down. These are in every guitar case. I cannot emphasize that enough. Have a good day.